Today I'm going to discuss how to create an all-frequency power spectrum for the Icom IC-R8600. And I'm also going to discuss some ways of actually viewing the results. So let's get started. The creation of the all-frequency spectrum is pretty easy. You just execute this command on the Windows machine. Just run sdrReceiveWindows with these options, and it will sweep from 5 megahertz to 2.99 gigahertz using a 10 kilohertz step size. And so what that does is that creates about 300,000 samples, about 300,000 frequencies, and I ran it for about 50 steps, so each of the 300,000 frequencies was sampled for 50 times for a half a second each is what it actually did. And so when you're done with that, the program gives you two outputs. It gives you a CVS output, and it gives you a 2D scientific data set output. The CVS output you could try running to heat map, which is the thing that they suggest for heat maps from RTL tools. But it only handles 65,000 points, and not only that, if you give it something that's large, it's so small you can't see it. And so instead of that, I started up my program, mMysticPlot, which is from the Mystic finite element code. It turned out I made one or two changes to make it a little better for viewing these images, and so that's what we have here. Is I've opened that scientific data set with the 300,000 points in it, and so each megahertz here actually has it's done real size. There's actually 100 points, and so there's 110 kilohertz points within the 1 megahertz range. And if we take a look here at the data, you can see at 7 megahertz there's some stations, and at 10 megahertz, and at 12 megahertz there's some stations, and at 14 megahertz and at 15 megahertz. And we can go scrolling through the list here, the frequencies, and this is something I've never noticed before. Something here around 72 megahertz. I've never done a full frequency scan except in the last couple of days, and that was a new discovery. And here's the standard FM band. And you go above the FM band, and here are the various control towers for the aerial, the aircraft frequencies. So it picks up a few of the stations there, and these are the long-term broadcasts where they're doing, weather and whatnot. And here's another area I've never noticed things at, 145 megahertz, and you get up here to here's 162.4 megahertz. That's the weather band, weather frequency here. And we can just go scrolling down this. Oh, we went a little too fast here. Here is the amateur band at 440 megahertz, and right above the amateur band is the general mobile service frequency. So these are all the general mobile service frequencies, and we can go cruising along here, and these are the television stations. So that's the pilot for the television stations and the frequencies of the television stations. And so this is all TV stations around the 500 meg. And the last TV station we have here is this one at 602 megs. And so you can just go flying through this data looking for things. And around here we have something up here at yeah, 770 megahertz. This is a public service band. They're all running P25 on that band, and you can go see. You pick up little things like this where you just don't know what the heck's going on, and then you get up here again at 854. This is another public service band, and again they're running mostly P25, but there's also a lot of just standard AM transmissions on this particular band around the 800 megahertz. And in here you can see there's little bits and pieces of stuff. Don't know what it is. Oh, here's a couple of. Okay, so here. This is another. They're doing public service up here again, or is it an amateur band? Anyway, there were a lot of people talking up here. I found that the other day, and so we can just go cruising along here. There's something there, and we'll just go. Once you get above a gigahertz, things are pretty spread out. I guess it's mostly wideband transmissions they're using up at these frequencies. Oh, there was something. Yeah, I don't know what these regions are. They're broadcasting something. That was around just below 2 gigahertz. And there's some more up here. And so you see things go flying by every once in a while. There's some more things here. And here you can see there were some transmissions here. And so that's, yeah, these strange, I don't know what these strange transmissions are. And so that's a quick look at the Icom IC-R8600, and I showed the entire frequency range spectrum of that machine, and it's a lot cleaner than the other devices. So there you have it, the full range of the Icom RC8600.